Welcome to the PBC 2020 NBA Draft Remote Film Room. My name is Jon Chepkevich, Director of Scouting for the PBC, and joining me today is sophomore wing from Michigan State, Aaron Henry. What's going on, Aaron?
What's going on? How are you guys?
Hey, doing pretty well, man. Hope you're holding up all right during the quarantine here and getting some access to a gym, able to still get some shots up, man. You doing all right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I've been working out a lot. This Corona thing's making stuff tough, but I still got to get in the gym. So,
making the best of it. We also thought that a good way to kind of spend some of this downtime would be, dissecting your film and going through some of the game tape and identifying ways that you could translate to the next level. And to do that, we wanted to bring on one of our scouts at the PBC, who also is an NBA draft analyst at the Stepien, and his name is Zach Milner. I'm going to bring him into the fold right now. What's going on, Zach?
How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Of course, man. So let's just dive right into the tape. Let's get to it.
Sure.
Perfect. So here on this first clip, your man steps over to tag Xavier Tillman rolling to the basket. Cassius throws you a nice pass to the wing for three, and I think some people look at the total numbers and they'll see that you shot 34% from three this year. But if we dive deeper, you shot 46.2% from spot up threes this year. Are you comfortable, or how confident are you with your jump shot in these spot up situations?
My confidence, I feel, took a jump from my freshman and my sophomore year. For me, not taking that shot my freshman year to now and just continuing to get better with it, it's just me realizing the type of player I am, and I can hit those type of shots at a high rate and at a high clip. So, kudos to Coach Iz for putting me in that spot, and nice pass from Cass.
Yeah, for sure. And it seems like, you're in somewhat of a low usage role, right? With Cassius and Xavier kind of running the show and pick and roll. And I like that you've been able to sort of take on that role and thrive in it and be a 93rd percentile catch and shoot guy, be able to punish teams when the defense is drawn in like this and just have that smooth lefty release. You've done a really good job of molding into your role and being a really nice off-ball wing in these scenarios.
Yes, sir. Something I try to be.
And then because of your ability to hit shots on the perimeter, teams have to close out on you. On this play, you do a really good job stalling the three, then you attack and get into the paint for the finish. In these situations, what are you looking for when they're coming, and when do you know that you want to attack the closeout versus when you want to shoot the three?
It just depends on the defender. If he gets too close to me, I feel like if you get too close to me, just the athlete I am, that I have the ability to just drive around you either way. He closed out good on me there and took away my shot. So, that's our opportunity to go around him and made a nice play at the rim.
Yeah, you do a great job attacking closeouts, like I said. And it just opens up your ability to finish at the basket with your athleticism, and then you can use either hand or you can just dump it off to teammates as well.
Yes, sir.
You want to maybe speak to on this play, like as Cassius is driving baseline right here, it seems like you have a really good sense to relocate up into this area here as opposed to stay in the corner. Is that something that as you've, played alongside such a crafty point guard that likes to make these little baseline drives and keep his head up, have you gotten a good sense for relocating along the 3-point line to free yourself up?
You always got to relocate with Cash. Unless you want the ball, and just seeing Rocket down there in that position on the block. I can't go to the corner like I'm supposed to when you see a guy drive baseline. So I try to move his line of vision, try to at least give Rocket a chance to move out on the perimeter. And luckily, Cash sees me as he always does. So, I love playing with him.
Yeah. That was really good stuff. And then if you pause it right here, it's pretty crazy the extent with which, look at this guy. He has no chance of staying in front of you right there. That was just an awesome pump fake. Really had him bite on that one. That was great.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we'll move on to this next clip now. This one's against Maryland, and I think we'll see that you kind of fill up into the corner here. Again, another really nice pump fake. And, the shot clock's low here, right? So it would have been – the easy thing would have been, I know there's 4 or 5 seconds left on the clock. Let me jack up this contested three. You want to maybe speak to your situational awareness and ability to, under the pressure of a low shot clock, still dissect the defense like this and get an easy bucket for your teammate.
Well, I could have settled for the three like you said, and it would have been contested. Probably would have, made it or whatnot. But, wanted to get a better shot, realizing that I still had enough time to make a better play for myself and our team, and getting all the way to the basket is one of those type of things that they want me to do. So just seeing Thomas open in that situation with 1 second left, I don't want to say it was luck, but it was something like that.
Plays into it a little bit, but you definitely got a high IQ and a really good feel as a passer after attacking these closeouts.
Yes, sir. That's something I feel like I've always done since high school.
Definitely. You were a Ben Davis guy, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. One of my old AAU teammates actually ended up moving out from Pittsburgh to Indianapolis and went to Ben Davis. Was more of a football guy. But
it's a football school for sure.
Yeah. All right, cool. So we'll move on to this next clip here. I think Zach's going to run you through this one.
Yeah, so on this next clip, you give a nice little rip through. Right from the jump, you get a step on your man. Defense comes to help out a little, and you go up for the shot, and then you adjust midair, and you dump it off to Tillman for the easy two. When you get the step on your defender here, did you know that you wanted to pass it to Tillman, or did you sort of adjust midair?
I was trying to get to my mid-range shot, but he did it. Number 20 did a good job of getting back in front. And, I should have got downhill more. And number 15, I forgot to pronounce his name, and he just was kind of just left in the middle in that gray area. And I just made a nice pass and zipped it right to X.
Exactly. And as you can see, Xavier Tillman has Aya Dosunmu on him, so it's a mismatch down there also. It's a great pass, easy bucket. Like we just talked about, your ability to attack these closeouts and dump it off to teammates is a big strength of yours.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and it's a tricky little pass too, right? Because if you dump it off too close to the restricted area, Io gets in there and digs it out. If it's too far back toward the Big Ten, this guy pinches in. So you put it in a nice spot. Xavier, to his credit, adjusted to it, and just a really nice play there on the fly from you.
Xavier's just one of those guys who's always in the right spot. Like, you can always find Xavier near the ball, near the rim.
Yeah, I spoke with him a few weeks ago for one of these film sessions as well. And, you could definitely tell he had really high IQ, and having both of you guys out there as guys who really can see the game and dissect the game in a split second, really served to your team's benefit throughout these past couple of years.
Absolutely.
And then on this next clip, we've all seen you shoot. We know you shoot left-handed, but even though, you're able to finish with both hands around the basket, but you do seem a little bit more comfortable with your right hand. This is just a beautiful finish with your right on the up and under. Is there anything behind being more comfortable around the basket with your right?
I write with my right hand. Everything I do with my right hand pretty much. The only thing I do is shoot with my left. So, just having that comfortability with my right hand is a huge part of my game, from a scoring standpoint to a passing standpoint. Going that way when I dribble. It's a lot of my game.
How did coming up to shooting with your left hand, how did that come about?
When I was 5 years old, my brother's left-handed. Everybody had a Fisher's Price run, in their grandma's backyard or whatnot. And, going out there, and my brother seeing me shoot with my right hand, he used to just always claim it was the worst thing ever. Like, it's just wrong to shoot with your right hand. Never shoot with your right. The left hand is the only way to shoot. So I'm younger than him. He's a couple years older than me. I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen to my big brother. So the rest of my life, I just end up shooting left-handed.
That's so interesting, man.
I don't have a jump shot with my right hand, but I can do some floaters, some layups, some free throws need be with my right.
Yeah, we see the little hook shots in the post with your right. Also, you're definitely comfortable with the right hand around the basket.
Yes,
almost ambidextrous.
Something like that.
Well, that's pretty cool, man. I feel like that's often like a swinging sports thing, like a hockey thing. Guys will train themselves to be left-handed, or baseball people will train themselves to be switch hitters. But that's interesting that for you that it ended up being shooting and basketball that was the opposite. It's pretty cool.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So I think we might have another nice righty finish here coming up next, right, Zach?
Yeah, there's one more coming up right here. I think you actually... Oh, here it is.
Yeah, that's a nice one. Little
baby hook, baby hook.
This one kind of stands out because you're driving the whole way with your right and kind of floating away from the hoop, and still are able to smoothly put that thing up and finish over a big. Yet again, just that, I guess, quote unquote offhand of yours being a big strength in your game.
Yes, sir.
So you got this one, Zach?
Yeah, I'll take this one. So as we just talked about, you're comfortable with your right hand around the basket. Every now and then there are times where it seems like you force it with your right hand, where you might have a better look if you were to keep going with your left.
Mhm.
Like here, you sort of bring the ball back to your defender who's contesting your shot, and you shoot it in front of him. Do you think there's anything you could have done different on this specific play?
Got more into his body, created more contact that way he couldn't meet me at the rim, I feel like, and initiated contact earlier. But I definitely could have finished with my left hand and off 2 feet. That's something that Michigan State teaches and something I should have done there. And we talked about this in our film session as well with our team. So, yeah, I heard about this one for sure.
Yeah, just I'm sure Izzo and the staff there have done a great job of dissecting stuff just like this with you. And I think that'll serve you well, when you make that jump to the next level, to have already been so familiar with, critiquing your own game and self-reflecting and taking things away from these film sessions that you can use going forward to improve. And this was just one minor area that we kind of saw in the tape that, thought might stand out as something to work on.
Absolutely.
And it's not like it's like a weakness. I mean, we talked about, you can finish with both hands around the basket. You still use your left. Just there's every now and then you might just go with the right when the left might have been a better opportunity, but you're still great in both areas.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, that's a nice block right here.
Yeah, he got you, but not a bad take. Just end up using that inside hand, and that might make it a little easier for him to get up and get that, right?
A whole lot easier. I put it right in his face.
And then another small area for improvement is just some shot versatility. I mean, on this play, you actually do a great job reading the defense when you're coming off the screen. Your IQ here pretty much gets you the open shot with the Tillman screen. Just being able to knock a little bit more shots down off movement. Like I said earlier, you were 46% on the spot up shots. Do you work on these off movement shots a lot during your practices or workouts?
All the time. And ever since the pandemic has started and stuff has been going on with the COVID, and that's all I work on, honestly, just moving, shooting the ball off the dribble, off movements, off pin downs, of course catch and shoot, but anything that refers to shooting, I'm working on it.
What do you think the difference is between your spot up and your off movement shooting? Like, do you know why you feel more comfortable with one than the other, or
just my balance? Not saying it's a problem, but just adjusting to it. Like, I've never been a guy that's been expected to hit so many threes in a game, and that's something that my game's been evolving to and getting towards in my role as I continue to grow as a player. But it's just something that I have to put more of an emphasis on and work on more.
Yeah, and to exactly what you were saying, like in the role that you're in now, you're not really asked to create that many shots off the dribble or off movement, right? So it's kind of hard to get into a rhythm like that during the course of the game when most of your looks are coming from spot ups or from drives. So I feel like, as you continue to grow and evolve as a player and keep working on it, like you're saying in the gym, that this could very well continue to grow and improve based on all the other things that we've seen that are encouraging as a shooter, right?
Yes, sir. It's going to improve for sure.
Cool. So I think the next clip, we've got Wisconsin here. You're ISO'd out on the perimeter on this one, and you get into a nice look again. And I think this is just touching on the exact same thing. So I don't know how much we really need to elaborate on it, but I think it comes back to the balance thing again, off the dribble as opposed to like off movement, right? It's just getting a little more comfortable in these, because as you can see, you can get to your spot very well, right? Like you get to this elbow, nice little crossover, rise up, but just getting that balance, getting more fluid at this will be huge in opening things up for you, because this will be a great counter, again, similar to your floaters and everything that you have in combating when guys are running you off the line, right?
Yes, sir.
And before we get into your defense, the good thing about your offense is this is so well-rounded. You're a great shooter. That means teams have to close out on you. Then you can attack the basket, finish with both hands around the basket, or dump it off to your teammates. So everything comes from your shot, which you're a good shooter, and just opens up so much more to your game.
Yes, sir. That's the most important thing. That was the main focus of my freshman summer. What I was working on going into my sophomore year, and I felt like without that type of work, like it would have been hard to just get off, I would say, in a game this year if I couldn't shoot. So it's still a work in progress, but it's took a lot of time and dedication for sure.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Having that baseline of being a competent shooter really opens everything up, and you can just keep fine-tuning all that and keep growing for sure.
So now let's get into your defense, which is also a big strength of yours. On this play, it was one of my favorites versus Tyrese Maxey. I mean, you give him no room when he's running off the screens, and when he catches the ball, you're pretty much all up in him. You cut him off on his drive. I mean, unfortunately for you, he makes the shot towards the end of the game. But, I mean, it's just great defense, just a good shot. This is the end of the game, like you could see a minute left. What were you thinking here?
I didn't sure if the scout report said he was going to shoot from the E, I would have pressed up for sure. But I was coming off the screen, I was in his pocket. You know, I hit the ball out his hand to get him back. I'm thinking he's going to the basket. I mean, it's a tough shot. You know, I mean, great shot too from a good player. But you know, I mean, I feel like it's as good as defense I can play.
Yeah, I mean, it's great defense. You cut off the initial attack, and he has to back dribble because of that. And he pretty much shoots because there's 5 seconds left on the clock. I mean, just a good shot, but it's great defense there as well.
Yeah, sometimes the guys take tough shots, and you know, when it's all said and done, like you live with the defense that you played here. It's great defense, textbook defense. Guy makes a tough shot, that's going to happen. Especially, you know, this guy's going to be an NBA player, right? So like guys are going to hit tough shots in the NBA, but if you consistently over the long haul play a tough, engaged defense like this, that'll bear out in the long run, right? So love to see that intensity and engagement on D. Next, we've got Maryland here, and this is Anthony Callen, who's, you know, got a really quick first step, one of the better guards in the Big Ten, and you just give him fits the whole way throughout this possession. You want to maybe just give me a quick rundown, like when you're matched up against a guy, you know, you play out on the wing, but when you get matched up against a quick, you know, bursty guard like this, what's your mentality in trying to seal him off, prevent him from getting to the rim like you know he wants to, and make it tough for him?
I mean, well, like you said, the most important thing was, I mean, he's a guy that can shoot the ball. So I mean, taking his space away, making him use his size at the rim, and knowing that I have that strength over him as far as size goes at the rim, force him into a tougher finish, whether it be left or right hand. I mean, he's a right-handed guy who wants to get downhill and play through contact and play through his bigs to get fouled. But if you take his space away and force him into a tough finish, I mean, I'll take my length over that at that position any type of day.
Yeah, for sure. I think your length can definitely deter some of these smaller guards, and, you know, situational awareness again, right? They're down 10 at the end of the game. He's one of their go-to like creators, and you just make it as tough as possible on him to get up a good look. That's as good of defense as you can play, and you end up bringing down the board as well. So again, just like the clip before, just playing great defense on the team's best sort of perimeter creator in a crucial situation.
And on this next one, I mean, 3rd game in a row, you're pretty much guarding one of the best players in crunch time. That just speaks to your defense. Here against Ayadasumu, I mean, he actually gets you with a little bit of shift with his handles here, but your recovery to block this shot at the rim when he gets that step on you is just incredible. When you're up there at the top of the key with him, defending him, what are you thinking of? I mean, we know it's the end of the game, but were you anticipating anything, or?
A few possessions before that, we messed up a ball screen coverage, and he went down the lane with the left hand and finished at the rim. So I didn't want anything like that. I wanted to play him score up, knowing that he's a right-handed driver, a guy that likes to play in that kind of that area in the floater range. You know, shoot a mid-range post every now and then, but he wants to get downhill to his right. So I mean, he got me with a nice crossover. He's a good player. I mean, it was a great move. I just got a chance to recover at the rim, and like I said before, he's a guy that, you know, he's not too much smaller than me. But at the rim, you know, I'm taking my chances with my athletic ability and my length and my size, and knowing that's not going to always win me the battle. But I feel like in that situation, I had to use it to recover.
Yeah, for sure. That's huge in the half court to be able to recover like this. And I'm sure out in transition, you can get some chase down blocks with that as well. And, you know, these clips are showing that you're, you know, realistically really capable of covering 1 through 3 and having that type of versatility to guard multiple positions out on the perimeter just makes you all that much more playable when you eventually become a pro, because you can seamlessly integrate into a variety of lineups and can't get played off the court, right?
Sure.
And the thing about your switchability also is, as we'll see in the next few clips, is you also don't struggle against bigger wings as well. And we'll get to that in a second. But I mean, you're just a switch defender. You're capable of defending so many positions.
So this guy here seems like he's got some size on you, right? Like he was out on the wing and tries to play a little bit of bully ball with you and get up in you, throw that bow right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you, when you're matched up against bigger wings or 4s sometimes, do you sometimes see that they try to maybe take some physical advantage of you? And have you worked on being able to combat that like you did really nicely on this play?
I like that. You know, when those bigger guys think they can just take me to that area or the post or try to get to their spot and just try to muscle me out the way, like that's not gonna happen. You know, you're gonna have to take one of those type of shots where you're gonna have to put it real high off the glass in a real awkward position.
Right.
You're gonna have to fight down there for sure. But you know, he was a good enough player to get down there, and he got it on the glass. I mean, he got to a spot, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a really easy place for you to pick up a foul, right? Like you've got this big dude driving at you early in the game and trying to, you know, establish himself with this elbow early, but you just do an awesome job of like putting your hands up, sticking with him and forcing him. I mean, this is ultimately a really difficult shot. You live with that all day. So it's good to see you're able to cover these ones, but also, you know, guard up on some bigger dudes as well.
Yes, sir.
On this next one, you're just guarding Quincy McKnight. You slide with him after the screen there. You block the shot after he's spinning middle. What were you thinking here when he's attacking here before he spins?
Not to relax on the hesitation dribble. I mean, that I feel like that was a big part of the scouting report first time is they have a lot of guys that can handle the ball and create their own shot, you know, and they're crafty with it. I mean, and the goal was to never relax, you know, and any move they make is to get themselves or somebody else a shot. So always being aware on defense was an emphasis this game, and I felt like I was here.
Right, and did you try cutting off the drive where he's going outside just because, you know, you had help in the middle? So even if he spun back to the middle and even if you didn't block that shot, you still have your teammates there to help.
Right. Yep. Plus, he's a right-hand driver. We're huge on that. You know, we're following the scouting report, making sure guys are doing and on their tendencies that they're not most comfortable with. And you put him in a spot like that where he's got to go back left and shoot over me, X, and Marcus down there. You know, that's going to be a tough shot any day.
Yeah, and you've spoken a lot to your film study, and we talked about like Izzo at the beginning, but you know, how much do you think that playing alongside guys like Xavier and Cassius, who are known for having such high basketball IQs, like how much do you think that playing alongside them and learning from them has helped you and grow and develop as a player, like off the court in your preparation?
Just seeing the proper way to be done. You know, what two guys to learn from are better than those two. You know, especially in the classroom and on the court as well. You know, they're good leaders. You know, somebody that I can say that, you know, really helped me throughout my time at Michigan State. You know, whether it's still going on or whether it's not. But you know, they're always going to be guys I can ask questions about leadership wise, on the court, off the court. Guys that are always going to be in my corner.
Yeah, for sure. And it seems like you've grown into a really nice leader in that capacity as well yourself.
Sure.
So this next clip is against Michigan State. And I think, again, we're highlighting that, you know, Xavier Simpson here, one of the kind of quicker guards in the Big Ten, really does a good job of like getting to the rim, finishing around the rim, and you just send this thing packing here. I mean, this is early in a game against one of your rivals. You're able to make a big impact play. Like, do you want to maybe speak to, as this little pick and roll is developing, how you're reading this and feeling it out, and then, you know, how meaningful it is to kind of make a statement early against a team like Michigan in their facility?
Yeah, for sure. He's a crafty point guard. You know, his shot's not the best. You know, something he's still working on. He can still shoot it, but you know, just knowing where his shots are, what type of shots he takes, I got to credit it to the film study again. He's a guy that likes those runners, those hooks, like sort of like I do. Any reason to get down there in that close range area to just get it up on the glass, he feels comfortable with. So knowing that I was waiting on that, and he's a smaller guard, you know, just trying to use my size and my length and my athleticism to just get to his shot and try and alter it. But I got to it here, so I mean, it was a nice block for me.
Yeah, and a really good job of fighting over the screen to start, right? Because I mean, you've got Kaski coming here and setting this. That's a big dude, and you kind of wrap your way around and are able to fight over and recover. I guess, you know, you mentioned that he's not known to be a great shooter. But was the scouting report on this still to try to fight over the screen and kind of like get around and recover?
I mean, you can say like non-shooters, you can go under them. If they get ahead of steam downhill, it's kind of harder to stop them most times.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about that big help and what type of guard it is and how we're checking and how we're supposed to guard it. So just knowing that the emphasis on this game was just getting over ball screens and not letting them get completely downhill. But you know, I don't want to say give him the mid-range, but let him play in that area.
Yeah.
I got back over. So, I mean, that was pretty much the scouting report area here.
For sure. Really well executed on that one again.
And on this next one, as we've seen throughout your defensive clips, is your switchability and your versatility is just a huge plus of your game. teams just aren't able to take advantage of you. Here you do a great job banging with Garza down low. I mean, you're denying him positioning down low, doesn't get the ball until he's all the way out the 3-point line. What positions do you think you can comfortably switch on and consistently defend? Like how wide of that range do you think that you can defend?
I mean, I want to say 1 through 5, but if I had to be honest with my size, 1 through 3, some small 4. But I just, like I said earlier, I mean, those guys like to try to get me in that position to where they can try to out-muscle me and be more physical than me. But that's the part of my game that I like, the fact that somebody wants to put me down there and try to score over me. Like, you're not just going to get down there easy. Like, you're going to have to fight for it. They're going to have to call a foul on me before you get down there.
Exactly. And you'll never be guarding a 5 consistently. Mm-hmm. But just being able to, like, this play, just bang down low with Garza.
Emergency situation, like I can switch on one, I can cut him out, get a rebound, in an emergency situation. But I mean, 48 minutes or 40 minutes, that's gonna be tough.
Exactly. I mean, just the fact that he catches the ball all the way out and you force him to pass it out. I mean, you get some help when he catches the ball out there, but I mean, that's just great team defense as a team.
I told Julius to stay away too. We good, darn it. If we're going to switch for your sake, we are okay.
It was great defense, though.
Yeah, this was one of my favorite clips for sure. I mean, and I think your answer was perfect, right? Like, you can guard 1 through 3, occasionally small 4s, and then in these spot situations doing this, that's all you can be asked to do. And this is just great D. If you could hear the audio on this clip, I got to give some credit to the Michigan State fans for recognizing this going on off ball, because they start getting a little hype and cheering for you while you're battling down there.
Yeah, Breslin's the best.
And I think this is our last clip here, I believe, and just wanted to highlight again your defensive engagement and recognition of what's going on, right? So after we watch you stalemate Garza for just a couple more seconds again, here they set up in like a little bit of like a horns little type action, little DHO action, and you're coming through covering this point guard. What was it that made you kind of make this decision and recognize that you could turn back around and kind of catch this big off guard here and knock this out?
He was out too high, and it looked like some pin DHO action. Just from the jump, how Bouye, the point guard, entered it. It just looked like something I've seen before on film, and I just took a risk and gambled, and luckily it worked out. Because if it didn't, I would have heard about
it. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I think there's something to be said for being disciplined and doing the right thing on D, but also knowing when to pick and choose your spots like this, right? And you chose right. You knew the scouting report, knew what was happening, recognized that, and made a big play. And I mean, you can't take those risks all the time, but if you pick and choose your spots wisely, which I think you do a great job of, it can really make an impact on the game. And, definitely love at the end here, the unselfishness. You could have came down and punched this yourself if you really wanted to.
I wanted to so bad. Julius a freshman. That's my guy, man. Let my dog eat, man. Go crazy.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff. And a good way to cap off this film session here is, another defensive impact play and then some unselfishness with that, which I think are both calling cards for you as a prospect, headed into your pro career eventually here.
Man, I appreciate you guys, man. Just highlighting everything that you seen, and it's a lot more than my game, than what was shown here. And
sure.
Hopefully, whether year 3 happens or whether I'm a professional, either way it goes, it'll be on display, and it's just I can't wait to play basketball again when all this stuff is over.
For sure, man. Definitely appreciate you joining us. And Zach, thank you very much for joining and for cutting up that tape and dissecting everything there. Really appreciated your perspective, Zach.
Thanks for having me.
And before we wrap up here, Aaron, just wanted to, in light of the uncertainty right now, normally you'd be able to get into gyms at teams' facilities in front of NBA personnel and kind of show those other areas of your game that you're alluding to off to NBA decision makers and kind of show out, pit it up against other potentially draftable wings and show what you bring to the table in like an intimate environment. But, with the COVID situation, that's not really in the cards right now. So kind of wanted to give you the stage to, relay to teams what you bring to the table. So who is Aaron Henry? And if an NBA team were to bring you into their organization, what could they expect from you both on and off the court?
I mean, well, first off the court, a better person than he is a basketball player, a Christian, a believer, in Jesus Christ, and more, and on the court, a guy that's going to compete on both ends. You know, I'm especially on the defensive end and on a guy that can create for himself, create for his teammates, and a guy that's going to be everywhere and contribute in all aspects of the game. And you can't just look at the box score to evaluate my game because I feel I affected in so many ways, you know, whether it be on defense, rebounding, scoring, you know, shooting the ball. I mean, just continuing to increase at every aspect of my game. You know, it's been a focus during this time, but to a pair of NBA eyes, you know, I mean, you can only see so much. You know, I would explain my game like that the best. You know, a playmaker, a guy that's always going to work hard, play defense, of course, and, you know, it's going to contribute in a lot of ways and not be at work.
Absolutely, man. I mean, I think you fulfill the archetype of a modern NBA wing that can add value in so many different ways, do all the small things, and, you know, can be trusted to, you know, do what's best for the team at all times, right? And I think that's what teams are looking for, and they can feel comfortable in knowing that you're going to work hard and bring all of that to the table every day. So, Aaron, thanks again for taking the time and joining, and wishing you the best of luck going forward as you navigate the pre-draft process, man.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it a whole lot. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.